welcome back. Hope everybody's doing good on this Easter Friday, Good Friday. It's the 2nd, so none of those April 1st jokes are all gone. This is not an April 1st joke. This is, as you can see from the title, Trek LOTR. So I developed a mod, just a sort of bit of backstory. So I developed a mod of the Lord of the Rings LCG to reskin it for Star Trek, and lots of fun. I've been playing it with Solo, been playing it with my friend Bo. We're both Trek mega nerds, so it was cool, a lot of fun. In order to sort of make that work, I created a new card type called the Ship Hero, so that you would have 4 heroes, one of them being the ship. So you'd have the 3 heroes that you would normally have, who would then be the crew of the ship. And that was all well and good, but to make it work as a hero, I gave them resources. They generated resources. And so because they generated resources, it threw the balance of the game out. So I increased the threat elimination limit from 50 to 60, because the heroes cost threat. This is actually the brand new version. What I should have done was had one of the originals so that I could show you how I was talking about, but of course I didn't. That would have been smart, but I did not do that. Just having a quick look to see if I actually do have an example, and of course I don't, so sorry about that. But anyway, so the original version was very much like, it was essentially the same as a normal hero. It had threat, will, attack, defense, hit points, ability, battles, all sort of stuff. And so to balance it out, the threat elimination was increased, and your deck was increased from 50 to 60. And that was fine up to a point. It did create some balance issues for when I made my own missions. Not too sure what's happened here, where it's got the wrong deck box, but yeah, it created a bit of an issue with balance. And so the sort of I sort of tried to combat that as best I could, but yeah, it was hard. So I'm just fixing up this box while I'm talking. So there's something on the screen, I'll fix up the box. I don't understand why the box has suddenly changed its skin. It should look like that, so I'm not too sure what that's about. So I'll just fix those into their own box. Anyway, so then Bo and I, as part of our sort of playing together, sort of online sort of stuff, played the quest called The Hunt for the Dreadnought. And that quest has the ships that you get from, I think, the Grey Havens. So Grey Havens introduces the concept of ships that are used as characters, that you sail on and do stuff. And the Hunt for the Dreadnought has sort of like the ultimate version of those cards. Because it's Lord of the Rings, they're called ship objectives. They didn't flat out make them heroes or allies, and they kind of operate a little bit like a hero, but also a little bit like a ally. And I thought, eureka moment occurred. I was like, why don't I just make my ships a little bit more like the ships that you see, in the Dreadnought quest. I really do think I should show you one of these ships. So I'm just going to very quickly bring up one. I mean, surely there's one in just a line around in one of these folders somewhere, you would have to think. There we go. I think what it makes this look a little bit clearer, right? So here's the original version. Had threat, had a renamed willpower to systems, attack to phases, defense to shields, and then hit points. And as you can see, they were very much like a hero. I mean, they basically operated the same way. They were even called heroes. And yeah, it just caused a lot of balancing issues. So what I've done is I've rejigged the ships to be more like the ships that you get in the Hunt for the Dreadnought scenario, which I don't see up here. Thought it was here, but doesn't appear to be. Anyway, not too sure where the Hunt for the Dreadnought scenario is going since we played it. This is a different save, but so it's more like that, just not as powerful. So the ones that come in there have got higher attack and stuff like that, and but not too much higher, not ridiculous. They also have much more powerful abilities. That's because they're pretty much one and done, right? So I've decided to emulate that. I've kept the ship hero concept, so they are still a hero for all intents and purposes. They just don't collect resources for themselves. If you want to have it, there are attachments that can go on them. They are neutral still. If you have attachments that want to go on them, then cool. You need to spend those resources like you would for normal neutral stuff, like Gandalf and stuff. And they have their own abilities. But they don't contribute to the threat, and so the balance, because they don't collect resources and have their own threat, then the balance is restored. So this is back to 50, this is back to 50. They still have kind of their own unique challenges, because they are because they don't have their own threat, they don't collect resources, they're essentially an ally that you get for free. So you get an ally at the start of the game straight away. You've already got a fourth player. Which is the same thing as Dreadnought. In the Dreadnought scenario, you get your 3 characters that you normally do. You create your fleet, as they say, which involves grabbing a ship. So it's not that big of a change. And it's pretty much identical to that, anyway. And they come with their own rules. So ships can only be used to attack other ships, and can only be used to defend against ships. Which is fine, which is the same thing I was doing for my one anyway, and it makes perfect sense. The only other sort of slight change that I feel that I've had to make, I stand by my decision, even though it makes it a little bit harder to balance, because it just in the Dream Chaser saga, or the Dreadnought saga, or whatever, the players can attack ship enemies. So like I said just a second ago, the ship can only attack or defend ships, can't attack normal enemies. But the players can attack the ships enemies as well. And they can't defend against them, but they can attack them. And that makes perfect sense in the scheme of Lord of the Rings and the scenario. It makes perfect sense. You're on a ship on the sea, right? You're on an actual fleet ship, you know what I mean? Like the Endeavour. So it makes sense that you can hand over the railing and attack, or do boarding, or shoot cannons, or whatever the case may be. So it makes perfect sense, but it just doesn't make sense in Star Trek, because you're in space. So what are they supposed to be doing? Hanging outside a shuttle bay, firing away? They knock out the window of 10 forward and start taking some shots. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So I've had to not allow that to happen. To sort of combat that, I created a card called Environmental Suit, as an attachment, so that which allows them to then attack space and ship enemies. They still can't defend against them, because if Tuvok tries to Seven could probably survive it because she's OP, but if Tuvok tries to defend against a ship that's firing at him, he's going to last less than a second. So they still can't defend against ships, and that makes perfect sense. But they can attack them as long as they've got the suit on. And this, of course, is the same suit that's used in First Contact. When they're walking across the hull, the bottom of the hull, the Enterprise E, and they shoot the Borg and stuff. So it's as close as I can get to allow that to happen. So the only bummer there is that you need to have it as I'm just going to go back up and finish what I'm doing up here. So you need to have it. Ah, it was perfectly fine. It was just flipped over. What a waste of time. Put it all back. Ugh, what an idiot. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so it's a bit of a bummer in that you have to then find the attachment and see if you can use it, and I mean you have to find it and attach it and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's not quite the same. It is a little bit annoying, but it's as close as I could get. I mean, yes, I could fudge it and say that yeah, they can just shoot ships and stuff and just pretend that everything's okay, but I just can't. I just can't do it. So, and I'm the designer, so I'm doing it the way I want. We'll see how it goes. All right. So now that I've made that change, it's a pretty significant change. The balance should be fairly close to what it is now normally, and I've made the ships as balanced as I possibly could. They still they have many more hit points than normal heroes do, and that's mainly to sort of balance them against the other ships that you can get. But I refuse to make them too powerful in that way. But the problem you've got there then is some ships are more powerful than others, right? It's just a fact. So, I mean, if you have what am I doing? I do that all the time. So if you have the opportunity to use something like the Prometheus or the Dreadnought, like let's put the two Ds together. Let's have a look at that, right? So I'm using the Enterprise D, and here's the Future Enterprise, sometimes referred to as the Dreadnought, or the Enterprise D Refit, or the Galaxy X. It's got so many different names, but it's the future. It's the version of the Enterprise that you see in All Good Things, the final episode of Next Generation. And yeah, it's pretty powerful. I tried to balance it out a bit. It's not ridiculous, but it is pretty powerful. And so the question you got to ask is why would I use the D when I could use the D refit? And I guess that really comes down to personal choice. It really is the same in the Dreadnought scenario as well. Like they have those the 6 ships that you get with it. It's a scenario, and you pick one at the start that you want to use. And some of them are more powerful than others, but they're pretty good all around. All of them are at least good. Some of them I feel are a little bit better than others, but so it's basically the same as that, isn't it? Really, I mean, you need to decide for yourself what are you willing to do. Like, you could say that, say the Reliant, for example, is far less powerful, and it is. I mean, it's a different era ship. It's completely different, right? So, you have to weigh up the choice of what you want to do. It's got far less attack. It's got far less defense. Its ability is pretty cool, but it's not the greatest. And it's got less hit points. So it really comes down to your own playstyle. So what do you think is going to help you? And make that decision. I mean, for a bit of a challenge, you might want to play. You might want to play the Reliant, or you might want to play like the Robinson or the Bird of Prey that's in the HMS Bounty, that are far less powerful. Or heaven forbid, the Enterprise NX-01, which is just a weak as ship. So, and because it was, what do you want? It was 100 years older than the Enterprise D, so of course it's not going to be as powerful. So, you have to sort of make that decision. How do you want to challenge? Then use the NX-01 or the Reliant or something like that. If you want a little bit more oomph, then use one of the later ships. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to use the Enterprise D because, I mean, it's iconic. And I think it's pretty well balanced in terms of power. It's not ridiculous, but it's pretty good, which, makes sense because it is, one of the most beloved of the ships. And also because I just really love the ability to not have to exhaust to defend. Because the ship has to be the one that defends against ship attacks. These 3 are basically just sitting there watching while the ship handles the problem. And so not being able to attack them back unless they have the suit, of course. It just basically means that they're just sitting there for combat. If there's just ship enemies here, then they're really not doing all that much, are they? So the ship has to do all the work, and so I find that not having to exhaust to defend is pretty handy. You can defend and then attack back if it needs to. So yeah, well, it's my favourite ability actually. So I went with that. You might want to call that a little bit of cheating, garming the system. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So the purpose of these streams is to sort of test out version 2, as the title says. So we're on version 2.0, and that's the real main change, is the ship. So I just want to test out the balance, because these missions that I created were designed for the previous rule set. So I want to play test them and sort of see how they go. Plus, I just enjoy playing them. So my missions, I'm pretty proud of my missions. Some of them are unique. So created from scratch. Kobayashi Maru, Encounter a Farpoint, and the Tholian Web. Those 3 were created out of my little brain. These ones, Insurrection, By Any Other Name, Undyne Invasion, and Best of Both Worlds, are based off of Lord of the Rings quests. They're called missions in my mod. So Insurrection is... I really should have brought that up before I started talking. Not very good in preparation, am I? Let's have a look. So Insurrection is Encounter at Amon-Dîn, By Any Other Name, which is the original series episode, is based off Conflict Carrack. At the Carrack. Undyne Invasion is based off of Hunt for the Dreadnought, funnily enough. And the Undyne are species 8752 or whatever they are, so the species that the Borg hate, because they can't assimilate them. And Best of Both Worlds is kind of a hodgepodge. It was one of the first ones I made, and it's essentially Escape from Dol Guldur, but a little bit of other stuff as well, sort of thrown in there. So I wouldn't say it's entirely Escape from Guldur, but it's pretty close. And it's clearly the hardest of the missions. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. So how hard it is. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, I think. And basically the same as Escape from Dol Guldur, isn't it? I mean, that quest is pretty much impossible. So solo at the very least. So let's do it. I'm going to start with Kobayashi Maru, because I haven't got a lot of time. So, and it is the quickest and the simplest one. So let's do it. Kobayashi Maru. Stardate 2268. While on patrol on the neutral zone, your ship receives a distress signal from the civilian freighter Kobayashi Maru. It has hit a gravitic mine while travelling along the neutral zone border and has drifted into it, rapidly losing power, hull integrity, and life support. A nearby spatial anomaly is making sensor readings difficult, and there is no way to verify the distress signal, and there are no other ships nearby to assist. Setup. You can use a ship hero with a starting threat higher than 12 for this. You cannot use a ship hero with a starting threat higher than 12 for this mission. Well, that's obviously going to change. Straight off the bat. Yeah. I can, if memory serves, I put that that in so that your ship was more along at least along the era that we're talking about, because all the TOS ships would have had threat of that type, like the Enterprise and stuff. And this obviously doesn't count anymore. So, yeah. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, I'll use the actual classic Enterprise for this mission, because that is really the spirit that was intended. So yeah, we'll do that. I still got it doesn't have to exhaust to defend at the very least, so it's pretty handy. 2/3/3 Sentinel, doesn't have to exhaust or defend. And as a plan in action, I can reduce my will by 1 to gain +2 defense. So if I think I'm going to have to need some defense, I can beef up my defense a bit. But it means that when I then move from the planning phase into the questing phase, I'll only be at 1 willpower. So yeah, choices need to be made. Alright, 1B. You must make a decision. Either attempt to rescue the Kobayashi Maru's crew and passengers, which involves violating the neutral zone and thereby provoking the Klingons into hostile action or possibly an all-out war, or abandon the Kobayashi Maru, preventing war with the Klingons but leaving the crew and passengers of the freighter to capture and therefore probable death. If you choose option 1, proceed to 2A, option 2, proceed to 3A. Now before I do that, let's do this properly and actually get my opening in hand. You should set your threat and your opening in hand before you do your quest stuff. So. Okay, so I did get an environmental suit, so I am going to just keep this hand. 1, 2, 3, okay. Alright, cool. So I've done that. Alright, let's get back to this. So, do I choose to attempt to rescue, or do I just say, hey, screw it, it's your own fault? Well, Saru would attempt to rescue. So let's, and he's my captain, so let's do it. Let's choose option A. Proceed to 2A. You choose to rescue the Kobayashi Maru's crew and passengers. As your starship enters the neutral zone, the communications officer loses contact with a crippled vessel. Klingon warships then quickly appear on an intercept course. Attempts to contact them are met with radio silence and they open fire. Proceed to 2B. When revealed, search the encounter deck for 2 Katinka-class cruisers per player and place them in the staging area, then shuffle the encounter deck. So, there you go, Katinka. There we go. Then shuffle the encounter deck, which I did. Once enough progress will be placed on the stage, move to 3B. Alright, so I need 10 progress. And I've got these 2 bad boys. They have start threat of 30. So they won't engage me straight away. I've got a little bit of time to beef up my defenses a bit, which obviously I'm going to need because the Enterprise attacks for 3, defends for 3, which is the same as them. So I need to get some beefing up there. Otherwise, I'm screwed. They've got no rain reveals or anything like that, so we should be good. Hopefully. Okay, let's do it. Opening hands. So, yeah, got to get environmental suit on my boy. I'll need resources. 1, 2, 3. And I need to give him a weapon so that he can actually attack. So it looks like Elnor himself is actually going to be the one doing some attacks because his ability says that he can target enemies in the staging area when he attacks alone. So he's the one that's actually going to be attacking. Again, how it works in game, you're going to have to just use your imagination because what is he doing if he attacks in the staging area? I mean, in Lord of the Rings, obviously, he's on a horse. He rides up, he smacks him in the face, he rides back to his group. I mean, that makes perfect sense. But this one, what is he doing? Anyway, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But it is what it is. So I'm going to spend 1 on him to give him environment suit. So that he can actually attack ships. And then I'm going to give him the Klingon spear. The Gintak spear. Which you can attach to a Klingon or a warrior. And he is a warrior. Attached character gains +1 attack or +2 attack if the attacking enemy is in the staging area, and they will be. So yeah, he's decked out. That means I basically don't have enough to spend on anything else, which is fine. But before we even worry about combat, we've got to go to questing. So I'm already faced with 4. I'm going to get something else. So Garrick obviously is going to quest for me. Garrick is my 4 willpower, spy, assassin, tailor, Cardassian, plain simple Garrick. And yeah, I'll send the ship as well. Why not? Actually, I'm going to say no. Yeah. So 6. So I'm already against 4. Let's see what the encounter deck brings me. Relentless enemies. It's very apt. When revealed, each enemy and location currently in staging area gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. If there are no cards in the staging area, relentless enemies gain surge. There are cards in the, so they're +1 threat, so that's actually 6, and which means I don't win, but I also don't lose either. My threat's 26, so they don't engage. But Elnor is going to fly over there and hit them, and then fly back to the ship. I'm going to say that's what it is. Jetpack. He's going to jet back over there, hit them, come back. Bingo. Sold. So when he attacks for 2 + 1. And the spear will give him +2 because they're in the staging area. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Defense of 3, so it's +2. So yeah, he flies over there and hits it with a spear and manages to damage it. That's just the fun of games, eh? That's how it works. Love it. All right, that's it. So boom, refresh, resource, and draw a card. Oh no, this he can get himself a Batleth, get some progress. Yeah, I gotta get that on him ASAP. I was gonna give him the phaser rifle, but I mean, this is the same, and it gets progress, so that's pretty cool. He doesn't really need ranged. He's attacking anyway, so it's fine. In fact, why do I even have the phaser rifles in here? I really should just take them out. Although +3 if the enemy's not engaged with you, so yeah, it's not too bad. Alright, so yeah, I need some questing. I need to get some quest stuff here, so I'm going to do 2 to bring out the Romatsian Diplomat. He's the deaf guy. He's pretty cool. He has 2 willpower already, but when he commits to a mission, he gains +2, so he goes for 4. But then if you do that, he disappears. So he has done his job. His diplomatic mission has done. So off he goes. So that'll give me a quick boost. And I want to save resources for other stuff. So let's do it again. Garrick, of course. This guy. So 4, 6, 8. The ships are still not going to engage, so I'm going to send my ship, the Enterprise, so the system scanners and stuff. So 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's stick with that. Actually, no, let's send Saru as well. 11. Send an 11. I'm not mucking around this one. Alright. Oh my god. What are the odds? I did shuffle. You all saw me shuffle. So yeah, so they go to 6. Which is just crazy. But I still win by 4, so that's great. Cool. So no, 5. 11 minus 6 is 5. Math is hard, okay? So yeah, that's pretty good. Can't complain. So that brings us to combat. This guy runs away straight after the quest phase, so off he goes. Yeah, so combat. He's charging in. 2, 3, 4, 5. He's actually going to take out one of these ships. 5 minus 3 is 2. 1, 2. Boom. Crazy. Alright, let's refresh. Threat. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so is this restricted? No, it's just level 1 per character. That's restricted. Okay, so straight away, I'm going to give him a Batleth. He's basically going to one-shot these Klingon ships, which is just madness. Excuse me. And then I'm going to excuse me again. Yeah, use Sarek's Council to reduce threat by 3 and give somebody who's questing, but not the Starfleet guys. So Saree's essentially giving Garak +1 willpower. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that all I want to do? Yep, that's all I'm doing. Going in for 8. 8 versus 2. Alright, so that's another ship comes in, so it's 8 versus 4, win by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, not quite enough for the quest. We go into combat. I am less than 30, and Elnor's going to attack, and he's just annihilating. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he gets a progress. So that ship's basically dead. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Ship's dead, and we get a progress, which means that is cleared. Once our progress is placed on the stage, move to 3B. Your science officer is finally able to get the sensors working and completes their scan of the Kobayashi Maru just before the last Klingon ship attacks and destroys it. The Maru was empty with no life signs or operating life support. It was a cruel trap. You order your ship out of the neutral zone immediately, but the Klingons won't let you go without a fight. Search the encounter deck for 2 Katinga-class cruisers per player and place them in the staging area, and shuffle the encounter deck. That should actually say search the encounter deck and discard pile. So I'm just going to make some quick notes. So obviously I need to get rid of the bit that says, or alter ship restriction. And I think I should lower the threat level of the Klingons, because it's a trap. They want to get in there. They should attack pretty much straight away. So the average 9, 18, 27. Yeah, I'm going to bring them down to 28. The very least 28, and sort of see how it goes. Because if you had Aragorn and Eowyn and stuff, it'd be like 12 plus, let's say Eowyn's like 8, 9, so 21. Arwen is what, 8, so it'd be 29. So they would attack straight away, right? I will think about this. Maybe they're right at 30. Maybe that's actually fine. I just happen to be using like low threat people. Yeah. See how it goes. Alright, so yes. Oh, and this should be search encounter deck. What's that? 3B encounter deck and or discard pile. So what if you haven't got enough left? Cool. Alright, so I'll just grab those out of the... Well, although, you do get an advantage if you take it out of here, right? Which means you're not going to pull one. So, oh my god, there's another relentless enemies. What are the odds? Alright, so there's those 2 at Adams Stationary. I've got 3 to deal with now. All Klingon ships must be destroyed to complete this mission. Alright, I've got 3 to deal with. I don't think it's going to be a problem considering Elnor is one-shotting these bad boys. Alright, so end, bang, he loses his +1 will. Resource, resource, resource. Draw a card. How many locations in the starting area? Should I just queue? Queue is Gandalf. So if I just queue, he'll instantly destroy one of them. Then I will kill the other one, and then it just becomes just another turn to survive. I mean, I've got it. Really is just in the bag, this game. So yeah, why the hell not? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Q comes out. Pretty easy. Deals 4 points of damage. Blows up one of the ships. And then I'm just going to quest 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, what did he say? At the end of the round. Okay, cool. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. Uh, 11 versus 4, and then location finally. 3. So 2, 4, 7. There's no when revealed or any forced or anything like that inside of this active location. Doesn't take effect, so that's fine. Alright. So 11 versus 7, win by 4. I'll then travel to inside the neutral zone, which is madness, but why not, eh? And then yeah, they still don't engage, so Elnor's just gonna do his shenanigans. 7 points of damage. One shot's a ship. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is what it is. So reset, reset. Down to one ship, and Q runs off, does his business. Threat by 1. Fresh, fresh, fresh. Resource, resource, resource. Draw a card, and then it's basically game over. I'm not even going to do any of this stuff. I'm just going to 4, 5, 6, 7. Questing. Reveal the card. Oh, I didn't do the additional threat from inside the neutral zone, so I'll do that. Should have done that. Okay, so draw a card. So the threat is 3. Does this have any? Nope, that's only when you travel there. So win by 4. So that's enough to get rid of inside the neutral zone and get one more on here. Then I'll travel to known space. After you travel to known space, first player may choose and ready one character. Okay. No problem. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter. Right, and then of course Elnor, or Elnor. What do I call him Elnor for? Boom. Ship's dead. So I still need to get the progress for the quest, but all one of the parameters is done. Ship's dead. So, because I kill him, I get a progress. Although, what does it say? Place one progress on the current mission. But if there's a location that blocks the current mission, so it really should go there. Cool. Raise threat by 1. Boom, boom, boom. Resource, resource, resource. Draw a card. Oh, absolutely awesome. I mean, come on. The ships essentially are never going to engage me. I'm going to get Sulu out there for a little bit more questing abilities. So Sulu becomes my helmsman, and after he commits to a mission, you place a progress token on each location in the staging area. but he gives me an extra willpower, which is good. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Questing for 8. There's nothing to fight against. There's nothing in here either, so it doesn't get the Sulu action. But draw a card. When revealed, each player raises their threat by 1 for each character they control that is not currently committed to a mission. Not currently committed. So that's only Elnor. So up by 1. And sayonara. So it's nothing to compete against. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Versus 0. So win by 8. So 2 on there. And enough to get rid of that. Which leaves me 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is it. No enemy ships. We've successfully fleed the neutral zone. Easy peasy. Yeah, so some notes. Change the 1A ship restriction. Change the 3B to say encounter deck and or discard pile. And I don't know, should I change the threat of the ships? I mean, nothing really had a chance to engage me. Was it just luck of the cards? I think at the very least, I mean, they are out for blood, right? It is a trap. They're trying to kill you. Why would they wait around? They would attack straight away. So, yeah, I'm just going to change the threat, the engagement threat to 28 at the very least. So that means some builds will engage straight away. Some builds will have like, 1 or 2 rounds. But generally they should be okay. So, I don't know, 28... 27 even maybe? I mean, even 27, would they even engage me straight away at 27? 9, 8, 9, 18, 26. I still would have gotten 1 more. Yeah, I think 27. Let's go 27. Because it is a trap. Let's have a look on. So this is the bow. This is bow side. Bow usually plays these guys. Yeah, so 9, 18, 20, 30. He would have been engaged straight away, even at 30. And that's pretty standard. I mean, so his characters are Shikoto, who is Theodrin, Miranda, who is Eowyn, Spirit Eowyn. And T'Pol, who is Denethor. So yeah, pretty cool combo. My Garrick is Tactics Eowyn. Saru, I can never remember the dude's name. No, I always forget. And Elnor is Theodred. No, Dunhair. I think he's there. No, he's Theodred. Oh my god, I'm retarded. Elnor is, Dunhair. Dunhair, or whatever. Anyway, so a pretty substantial, easy victory. I'll make those modifications for next one, but that's not the point of these. I basically want to play test all the missions and just see what they're like. I should mix it up a bit. I should play this one again and just change my heroes. Although I'd have to change the entire deck. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I have a couple of decks that have sort of differences. I might play sort of the classic Aragorn, Eowyn, Denethor type combo. So that would be Miranda, T'Pol, and I can't remember who my Aragorn is. I think it's John Luke, maybe. Yeah, I might do that. Cool. Thank you very much for joining me. It was a nice, short, quick one. I'll come back over the next couple of days over the Easter break and do the others. But I hope you enjoyed that, and please leave any feedback or comments. I'd love it. and follow, or whatever it is that you do on Twitch. Follow. Yeah, if you could throw me a follow, that would be great. If you enjoy that, yeah. But otherwise, take care of each other. Stay safe, and catch you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.